Admiral Tom Marcus stood on the bridge of the UES Nemesis, staring at the stars through the main view screen. His weathered face showed the deep lines of a man who had seen too much death. 3 months ago, the aliens had attacked Earth's outer colonies without warning. 2 billion people died in a single day. Status report, Marcus said, his voice calm despite the weight on his shoulders. Lieutenant Jack Reed looked up from his control panel. All systems ready. Admiral, the quantum drive is stable. Weapons are charged. Marcus nodded. The Nemesis was humanity's last hope. A warship built in secret using technology the aliens never expected humans to understand, let alone improve upon. Its sleek, black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it. Even now, hovering just beyond Earth's moon, it was nearly invisible to normal sensors. "Show me the enemy fleet," Marcus ordered. The main screen changed to display 5 massive alien warships approaching Earth. Each one was at least 3 times larger than the Nemesis. Their hulls gleamed with a metallic blue sheen that seemed to ripple like water. These were the pride of the Stellar Coalition, an alliance of 7 advanced alien species who had decided that humanity was too dangerous to allow into the galactic community. Reed's fingers moved across his control panel. Coalition dreadnoughts moving into attack formation. Their weapons are hot. Their shields are at maximum. Those shields had proven impenetrable to Earth's conventional weapons. During the first attack, hundreds of missiles and energy beams had bounced harmlessly off them. The aliens had laughed as they destroyed Earth's defenses one by one. "Open communication channel," Marcus said. The screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. Admiral Dorn of the Coalition forces had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on his gray, leathery face. His mouth was a thin line that barely moved when he spoke. "Human," Dorn said, his voice translated by the ship's computer. "Your species has been judged and found wanting. You are violent, unpredictable, and dangerous. Surrender now, and we will spare your homeworld. Resist, and we will turn Earth into a memory." Marcus met the alien's 4-eyed gaze without flinching. "We tried peace. We tried diplomacy. You responded by killing billions of innocent people. A necessary precaution," Dorn replied coldly. "Your kind spreads like a disease. Better to cut out the infection before it spreads." "You made one mistake," Marcus said. "You didn't kill all of us." He signaled Reed to cut the communication. The alien's face disappeared from the screen. Commander Anna Wilson, the ship's chief engineer, approached Marcus. Her hands were stained with engine grease, and dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't slept in days. "The Void Protocol is ready," she said quietly. "But sir, we've never tested it at full power. The simulations show a 90% chance of success, but if something goes wrong, we're no worse off than we already are," Marcus replied. "They're going to kill us all anyway." Wilson nodded grimly and returned to her station. Marcus addressed the bridge crew. "What we do today will be remembered for as long as humans exist. The Coalition thinks they know what humans are capable of. They think they've seen our best weapons, our best tactics." He paused, looking at each crew member in turn. "They're wrong." Reed's console beeped urgently. "Coalition ships are launching fighters. Hundreds of them." The view screen showed small craft pouring out of the larger ships like angry insects from a disturbed nest. Each fighter was armed with weapons that could level a city. "Good," Marcus said. "Let them commit their forces." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. This wasn't the reaction they expected from their admiral. "Sir," Reed questioned. "The more they commit, the more they'll lose," Marcus explained, "and the message will be that much clearer." He turned to Wilson. "Begin the Void Protocol." Wilson took a deep breath and pressed a sequence of commands into her panel. Deep within the Nemesis, something impossible began to happen. The revolutionary quantum drive, built from technology stolen from a crashed alien scout ship and improved upon by Earth's most brilliant minds, started to bend reality itself. The lights on the bridge dimmed for a moment, then returned to normal. A low hum filled the ship, felt more than heard, vibrating through the deck plates and up through the crew's boots. "Displacement field active," Wilson reported, her voice tight with tension. Reality anchor holding steady. On the view screen, the approaching alien fighters suddenly seemed confused. They slowed, then started to circle, clearly unable to locate the nemesis. "They can't see us," Reed said with wonder in his voice. "The displacement field is working. We're partially phased out of normal spacetime." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "Now for the real test. Target the lead dreadnought. Prepare the molecular dissociation beams." The weapons officer, Lieutenant Sam Grant, programmed the targeting sequence. "Target locked, sir." Marcus took a moment to consider what he was about to do. The molecular dissociation beams were unlike any weapon ever used in combat. They didn't explode, burn, or pierce. Instead, they simply convinced matter to stop being matter, to break apart at the molecular level. "Fire," he ordered. Brilliant white beams shot out from the nemesis, crossing the void of space in an instant. They struck the lead coalition dreadnought and passed straight through its shields, as if they weren't there. On the view screen, the crew watched as the massive alien ship began to come apart, not in explosions or fire, but in a silent, almost beautiful disintegration. The hull simply fell apart into its component molecules, and then those molecules separated further into atoms, creating an expanding cloud of particles where once had been the most powerful warship in the Coalition fleet. Admiral Dorn's ship was gone in less than 30 seconds. Stunned silence filled the bridge of the Nemesis. Even though they had helped build this weapon, even though they knew the theory behind it, seeing it work was something else entirely. "Target the next dreadnought," Marcus ordered, his voice steady. 2 more Coalition ships suffered the same fate as the first. The remaining 2 began to turn away, accelerating to maximum speed. "They're running," Reed said in disbelief. "Let them go," Marcus replied. "We need witnesses. The galaxy needs to know what happens when you corner humanity." As the Coalition survivors fled at maximum speed, they transmitted a single message that would soon echo across the galaxy. Beware the human warship. Beware the Nemesis. The battle, if it could even be called that, was over in less than 5 minutes. 3 of the most powerful warships in the galaxy had been reduced to clouds of drifting particles, and humanity on the brink of extinction had just changed the rules of war forever. Marcus looked at his crew, seeing hope in their eyes for the first time in months. "This is just the beginning," he told them. "Today, we showed them that humanity doesn't bow. Tomorrow, we take the fight to them." 2 weeks after the Nemesis destroyed 3 Coalition dreadnoughts, Admiral Marcus stood in the war room beneath the ruins of what was once the United Earth Defense Headquarters. The underground chamber was filled with military officers and government officials, all gathered around a large holographic display showing the movements of alien fleets across the galaxy. "They're pulling back," General Kate Brown said, pointing to several flashing dots representing Coalition forces, not just from Earth, but from all human colonies. President James Ward, a tall man with silver hair and tired eyes, studied the display. "Are they regrouping for another attack?" "No, sir," Marcus replied. "They're running scared. Our intelligence suggests they've abandoned 7 outposts near human space completely." Lieutenant Reed entered the room, carrying a data tablet. He saluted before speaking. "Admiral, we've intercepted communications from across Coalition space. I think you'll want to see this." Reed connected his tablet to the main display. The hologram changed to show recordings from various alien news broadcasts, all showing the same footage, the moment when the Nemesis destroyed the Coalition flagship. The room fell silent as they watched the massive alien warship dissolve into a cloud of particles. "They're calling it the dissolution," Reed explained. "The recording came from one of the Coalition ships that escaped. It's been shared across 17 different alien networks." "Good," Marcus said. "Fear can be a powerful deterrent." President Ward frowned. Fear can also unite enemies against a common threat. Us. The hologram shifted again, showing a meeting of alien leaders. Various species, some humanoid, others with bodies shaped like nothing on Earth, argued heatedly. "This is from the Galactic Council," Reed said. "They've called an emergency session to discuss the human threat. Some are demanding immediate action, others are advising caution." An alien with blue skin and 4 arms spoke on the recording. "The humans have created a weapon that violates the laws of physics as we understand them. If they can do this to warships, they can do it to planets, to stars. They must be contained before they perfect this technology further." Another alien, this one resembling a large insect, replied. "The coalition attacked them first, destroyed their colonies, killed billions. What did you expect them to do? Surrender and die quietly?" The recording ended, and President Ward turned to Marcus. "How many ships can we build with this technology?" "That's the problem, sir," Marcus answered. "The Nemesis is one of a kind. We barely understood the alien technology we reverse-engineered to build it. Dr. West and her team needed 3 years to create one working prototype." Commander Wilson stepped forward. "The quantum displacement drive is extremely complex, and the molecular dissociation beams require materials we can barely manufacture. We could build maybe 2 more ships in the next year, but not a fleet. Then we're still vulnerable," Ward concluded. "If they unite against us." An alarm blared, interrupting the president. Red lights flashed throughout the war room. "What's happening?" Ward demanded. A communications officer's voice came over the speaker. "Sir, we've detected a single alien vessel approaching Earth. It's not Coalition design. The ship is broadcasting on all frequencies, requesting permission to approach." "Show me," Marcus ordered. The holographic display changed to show a sleek, silver ship unlike any they had seen before. It was smaller than the Coalition dreadnoughts, with an elegant design that suggested speed rather than power. "It's a Meridian diplomatic vessel," Reed identified after checking his data. "The Meridians have stayed neutral in the conflict so far." "They could be carrying a weapon," General Brown warned. "A suicide attack." Marcus considered for a moment. "Get the Nemesis ready for immediate launch. If this is a trick, we'll respond accordingly." He turned to the communications officer. "Grant them permission to approach, but keep them in orbit. We'll send a shuttle up to meet them." 6 hours later, Marcus sat across from Ambassador Kell of the Meridian Empire in a secure meeting room aboard an orbital platform. The ambassador had a humanoid appearance, though his skin had a silvery sheen, and his eyes were completely black. "Admiral Marcus," Kell began, his voice translated by a small device on his collar, "your demonstration of power has changed everything. The Coalition believed they understood humanity's capabilities. They were wrong, and they have paid for that mistake." "Why are you here, Ambassador?" Marcus asked directly. "To offer an alliance," Kell replied. "The Meridian Empire has always recognized humanity's potential. While the Coalition sought to crush you, we chose to watch and wait. What you have achieved with the Nemesis proves we were right to do so." Marcus leaned forward. "An alliance against the Coalition. Against whatever comes next," Kell said. "The Coalition is fracturing. Some species want revenge. Others want to study your technology. Still others wish to make peace, but all fear what you might do next. We just want to be left alone," Marcus said. Kell's expression became grave. "That is no longer possible, Admiral. Your ship has changed the balance of power throughout the galaxy. Every species is now asking the same question. What if humans build more ships like the Nemesis? What if they build thousands? We couldn't if we wanted to," Marcus admitted. "The technology is too complex, the materials too rare. The Coalition doesn't know that," Kell pointed out. "And fear makes for poor judgment. Already, there are whispers of a preemptive strike against Earth, not by the Coalition alone, but by a temporary alliance of multiple species. They attack us again, they'll suffer the same fate," Marcus warned. Perhaps, Kell acknowledged. But even your remarkable ship cannot fight the combined fleets of a dozen worlds. My government offers not just alliance, but assistance. We have resources you need, manufacturing capabilities. In return, we ask for protection. Marcus was about to respond when Lieutenant Reed rushed into the room. Admiral, urgent news from our long-range scouts. Multiple fleets are gathering at the edge of our solar system. Not just coalition. At least 5 different species ships have been identified. Ambassador Kell looked unsurprised. It seems the galaxy has made its decision faster than I anticipated. Marcus stood up. How many ships? At least 200, with more arriving, Reed reported. Sir, the Nemesis can't fight that many, even with the displacement technology. Marcus turned back to Kell. How quickly can your empire provide the resources you mentioned? Not quickly enough to build more ships like yours before this fleet arrives, Kell admitted, but perhaps quick enough to enhance the one you have. Marcus nodded grimly. Then we have work to do. The galaxy thinks humanity is more dangerous than we actually are. It seems we need to live up to their expectations. As Marcus left to prepare the Nemesis for what might be its final battle, he knew that humanity's survival would depend not just on the power of their revolutionary warship, but on their ability to make the galaxy believe they had more where that came from. Admiral Marcus stood on the bridge of the Nemesis, watching as the alien fleet grew larger on the view screen. In the 3 days since Ambassador Kell's warning, the number of enemy ships had grown from 200 to over 500. They formed a massive wall of metal at the edge of the solar system, just beyond the orbit of Neptune. Status report, Marcus ordered, his voice betraying none of the fear he felt inside. Lieutenant Reed looked up from his station. 537 ships. Admiral, we've identified vessels from 8 different species. The coalition makes up about half the fleet. The rest are from the Trell Concordance, the Voss Dominion, and several smaller powers. Commander Wilson entered the bridge, followed by Dr. Jane West and 2 Meridian engineers. Dr. West was the lead scientist who had created the molecular dissociation beams. She was a small woman with short gray hair and intense eyes that missed nothing. The modifications are complete, Wilson reported. The Meridian's power crystals have boosted our energy output by 30%. Dr. West nodded in agreement. The displacement field can now cover a larger area, and the dissociation beams have greater range. But Admiral, even with these improvements, we can't fight that many ships. Marcus knew she was right. The Nemesis was powerful, but not invincible. It could perhaps destroy 20 or 30 enemy vessels before being overwhelmed. We don't need to fight them all, he said. We just need to make them believe we can. He turned to the communications officer. Open a channel to their command ship. The view screen changed to show an alien with scaly red skin and yellow eyes. Admiral Vex of the Trell Concordance looked down at Marcus with obvious contempt. Human, Vex said. Your time has come. Your weapon is impressive, but it cannot save you now. Surrender the Nemesis and all research related to its technology, or we will destroy your planet. Marcus met the alien's gaze calmly. You've gathered quite a fleet, Admiral Vex. Tell me, did you bring them all here to die? Vex's expression didn't change, but Marcus noticed a slight twitch in his eye. Your arrogance is typical of your species. One ship cannot defeat hundreds. You're right, Marcus agreed, surprising the alien admiral. One ship can't defeat hundreds, but what about 10 ships, or 20? He nodded to Reed, who pressed a sequence on his console. The view screen split to show the alien fleet on one side, and what appeared to be empty space on the other. I don't understand, Vex said. Let me help you, Marcus replied. Computer, deactivate stealth systems on Defense Group Alpha. For a moment, nothing happened. Then on the right side of the screen, 10 warships identical to the Nemesis appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. They were arranged in a perfect formation, their black hulls absorbing the light of the distant sun. Vex's yellow eyes widened. Impossible. Our sensors detected nothing. The displacement technology works as a stealth system too, Marcus explained, hiding his smile. And these are just the ships we want you to see. What Vex didn't know, what no one outside a small circle of Earth's leadership knew, was that the other ships were not real. They were holographic projections created by devices the Meridians had helped install around the solar system. The Nemesis was still the only ship of its kind, but the alien fleet didn't know that. Final warning, Marcus said, his voice hard. Leave Earth space now, or face the consequences. The screen went black as Vex cut the communication. Do you think they bought it? Reed asked. We'll find out soon enough, Marcus replied. They didn't have to wait long. Within minutes, the alien fleet began to move, not toward Earth, but away, breaking formation as ships from different species started to retreat in different directions. Sir, Reed reported, excitement in his voice, 30% of the fleet is withdrawing, mostly smaller powers. Wait, the Voss ships are leaving too. Dr. West smiled for the first time in days. The bluff is working. But the celebration was short-lived. On the view screen, the remaining ships, still over 300 strong, began to advance toward Earth. Coalition and Trill ships are moving into attack formation, Reed said, his voice tense again. They're not running. Marcus had expected this. Some would rather fight than look weak. Prepare for battle. He turned to the weapons officer. Target the lead Trill cruiser. Full power to the dissociation beams. The Nemesis moved forward, its displacement drive creating the strange rippling effect that made it look like the ship was passing through different layers of reality. Behind it, the holographic projections of the other 10 ships did the same, mimicking the flagship's movements perfectly. The alien fleet opened fire first. Energy beams and missiles streaked toward the Nemesis and its phantom companions. Most passed harmlessly through the holographic ships, but several hit the Nemesis itself. Its advanced shields absorbed the impacts, but the ship shuddered under the assault. Return fire, Marcus ordered. The Nemesis fired its dissociation beams. 2 brilliant white beams lanced out, striking the lead Trill cruiser. Just as with the Coalition dreadnoughts weeks earlier, the massive alien ship began to disintegrate, breaking apart at the molecular level. The effect on the alien fleet was immediate. Ships began to change course, trying to avoid the deadly beams. But in their panic, they fell into disarray, some colliding with others. Sir, Reed called out, I'm picking up massive energy readings from the Coalition flagship. They're charging some kind of weapon. Before Marcus could respond, a massive burst of energy erupted from the Coalition flagship. It wasn't aimed at the Nemesis, but at one of the holographic ships. The energy passed through the false image without effect, revealing the deception. They know, Wilson shouted. They've figured out the other ships aren't real. The alien fleet regrouped quickly, and this time all their fire focused on the real Nemesis. The ship rocked violently as multiple impacts hammered its shields. Shields at 60% and falling, Reed reported. We can't take much more of this. Marcus gripped the arms of his command chair. The gamble had failed. The Nemesis was powerful, but it couldn't fight hundreds of ships at once. Earth was doomed. Then, just as hope seemed lost, new alerts sounded on the bridge. Sir, detecting multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel, Reed exclaimed. They're Meridian vessels. 50 of them, heavily armed. Ambassador Kell's face appeared on the communication screen. Admiral Marcus, the Meridian High Council has voted. We stand with Earth. Our fleet is at your disposal. As the Meridian ships engaged the alien armada, Marcus realized that humanity had gained something perhaps more valuable than their revolutionary warship. They had found an ally in a hostile galaxy. The battle for Earth's survival had only just begun. 2 hours into the battle, the space around Earth looked like a deadly light show. Energy beams crossed the darkness in all directions. Explosions bloomed like silent flowers. Disabled ships, both alien and Meridian, drifted through the battlefield. In the middle of it all, the Nemesis moved like a shadow, appearing in one place only to vanish and reappear somewhere else. Its displacement drive gave it an advantage no other ship could match, the ability to partially phase out of normal spacetime, making it nearly impossible to hit. On the bridge, Admiral Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead. Despite the ship's advanced cooling systems, the temperature had risen as power was diverted to weapons and defenses. "Status report," he ordered. Lieutenant Reed's fingers danced across his console. "We've destroyed 23 enemy vessels. The Meridians have taken down another 38. But, sir, we're still outnumbered 3-1. Commander Wilson called from her engineering station. "The displacement drive is overheating. We can't keep jumping around like this for much longer." Marcus nodded grimly. The Nemesis was the most advanced warship ever built by human hands, but it had limitations, and right now, those limitations were becoming dangerous. "What about the Meridians?" he asked. "Taking heavy losses," Reed replied. "They've lost 17 ships already." The view screen showed the battle raging around them. The Meridian vessels, sleek, silver ships that moved with surprising speed, were fighting bravely, but they lacked the Nemesis's advanced weapons. They could damage the enemy ships but not destroy them as efficiently. "Sir," Reed said suddenly, "I'm picking up a transmission from Earth. It's President Ward." "Put him through," Marcus ordered. The president's face appeared on a side screen. He looked tired but determined. "Admiral, we've received word from our lunar base. Dr. West has completed her work." Marcus felt a surge of hope. 3 days ago, before the battle began, he had sent Dr. West to the secret research facility on the far side of the moon. Her mission: to find a way to amplify the Nemesis's weapons to affect multiple targets at once. "Can she deliver?" Marcus asked. "She says she can," Ward confirmed. "But there's a catch. The amplifier needs to be at the center of the enemy fleet to work properly, and it will drain all power from the Nemesis for several minutes afterward." Marcus understood what that meant. They would have one shot, and then be completely vulnerable. If it didn't work, Earth would fall. "How soon can she get it to us?" he asked. "She's already on her way," Ward replied. "A small shuttle, coming in from the dark side of the moon. The enemy is focused on your battle. They might not notice her." No sooner had the president finished speaking than the ship rocked violently. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. "Direct hit," Wilson shouted. "Shields at 20%. The displacement drive is failing," another officer reported. "We can't phase out again for at least 10 minutes. Marcus made his decision. "Pull back to Earth orbit. Have the Meridians cover our retreat." He turned to the communications officer. "Send a message to Dr. West. We'll rendezvous with her behind Earth's satellite defense network." As the Nemesis withdrew from the main battle, the enemy ships sensed weakness and began to pursue. The Meridian vessels moved to intercept, sacrificing themselves to buy time. 30 minutes later, a small shuttle docked with the Nemesis in the shadow of Earth's largest orbital defense platform. Dr. West hurried onto the bridge, carrying a metal case. "This better work, Jane," Marcus said as she arrived. Dr. West opened the case to reveal a strange device that pulsed with blue light. "It will work, Tom. But like the president said, we need to be in the middle of their fleet, and once we activate it, every system on this ship will shut down for approximately 4 minutes while the power transfers to the amplifier." 4 minutes is a lifetime in battle," Marcus said. "Yes," Dr. West agreed. "But if this works, there won't be much of a battle left." Marcus studied the tactical display. The Meridian fleet was being pushed back. Earth's orbital defenses had joined the fight, but they were designed to handle a few ships at a time, not hundreds. "We don't have a choice," he finally said. "Engineer Wilson, how soon can we get the displacement drive back online?" 7 minutes minimum, Wilson replied. "We don't have 7 minutes, Marcus said. We'll have to go in without it." The bridge fell silent as everyone realized what that meant. Without the displacement drive, the Nemesis would be visible and vulnerable, an easy target for the entire enemy fleet. "I need a volunteer," Marcus said. "Someone to pilot a drone ship straight into the heart of the enemy fleet. The amplifier can be remote activated, but someone needs to get it into position." Before anyone could speak, Dr. West stepped forward. "It's my invention. I'll do it." Marcus shook his head. "Earth needs your brain, Jane. I need your brain. I'll—" "Sir," Lieutenant Reed interrupted, "I've plotted a course. If we use the moon's gravity to slingshot around, we can build up enough speed to reach the center of their formation before they can react. But the Nemesis would be too obvious. They'd shoot us down immediately." "What are you suggesting?" Marcus asked. Reed stood up straight. "Give me a shuttle. I'll carry the amplifier. They won't waste time on a single shuttle when they have the Nemesis to worry about." Marcus looked at his young lieutenant. Reed was barely 30, with his whole life ahead of him. "It's a one-way trip, Jack. You know that, right?" Reed nodded. "For Earth, sir. For all of us." 1 hour later, the battle entered its final phase. The Nemesis emerged from behind Earth's moon, all weapons firing, drawing the attention of the entire enemy fleet. At the same time, a small shuttle piloted by Lieutenant Reed accelerated toward the center of the alien armada. As expected, the enemy focused their fire on the Nemesis. The human warship took hit after hit, its shields failing under the barrage. "Shuttle status?" Marcus asked, gripping his chair as the ship shook around him. "Almost in position," the tracking officer reported. "Enemy ships are beginning to notice it. They're firing. The shuttle is hit but still moving." On a small screen, Marcus watched as Reed's shuttle, now trailing fire and debris, continued on its course, diving deeper into the enemy formation. "Reed to Nemesis," came the lieutenant's voice over the comm. "I'm in position. Activating amplifier in 3, 2, 1. A brilliant blue-white light erupted at the center of the alien fleet. It expanded outward in a perfect sphere, engulfing ship after ship. Where it touched, alien vessels began to break apart, not violently, but gently, dissolving into their component molecules just as the coalition dreadnoughts had when struck by the Nemesis beams. The amplifier had worked. It had turned the molecular dissociation effect into an expanding wave that affected everything in its path. As the wave continued to spread, the remaining alien ships began to flee in panic, accelerating away from the deadly sphere of dissolution. The Grand Alliance that had come to destroy Earth was breaking apart before their eyes. "He did it," Dr. West whispered. "Reed did it." On the bridge of the Nemesis, Admiral Marcus watched the enemy retreat. The amplifier had affected nearly 200 enemy vessels before its energy was spent. Combined with those destroyed earlier in the battle, more than half the alien fleet was gone. The rest were running. "Send a message to all ships," Marcus ordered. "Earth is under the protection of the Nemesis and its sisters. Any further aggression will be met with total dissolution." It was a bluff. They had no sister ships. But after what the aliens had just witnessed, none would dare call it. As the last enemy ships vanished into faster-than-light travel, Marcus stood silent, thinking of Lieutenant Reed and his sacrifice. One human life had turned the tide of the battle. One human had saved billions. That, Marcus thought, was humanity's true strength. Not the advanced technology, not the deadly weapons, but the will to stand against impossible odds, and the courage to sacrifice everything for others. The galaxy had tried to exterminate humanity and failed. Now they would have to learn to live with humans as equals or face the consequences. 3 months after the battle that became known as the Great Dissolution, Admiral Marcus stood at the window of the newly built Earth Defense Headquarters, looking out at the rebuilt skyline of New Geneva. The city had been constructed in record time, a symbol of humanity's resilience and determination to rebuild. Behind him, representatives from 12 different alien species sat around a large circular table. They had come to Earth not as conquerors, but as diplomats seeking peace. The nemesis had changed everything. "Admiral," President Ward called, gesturing to an empty seat at the table. "We're ready to begin." Marcus took his place next to Dr. West. In the months since Lieutenant Reed's sacrifice, she had become a hero to humanity, the scientist who had created the weapons that saved Earth. But Marcus knew the toll it had taken on her. She had lost a friend and colleague in Reed. "The Council of Worlds welcomes Earth's representatives," announced Grand Arbiter Tull of the Meridian Empire, who had been chosen to lead the proceedings. "Today, we formalize the peace between humanity and the galactic community." Ambassador Kell, now Earth's strongest ally, nodded in approval. Next to him sat representatives from species that had tried to destroy Earth just months ago. The contrast was not lost on Marcus. "Before we sign the peace accords," an alien from the Trell Concordance spoke up, "we must address the key issue: the weapon technology aboard the Nemesis and its sister ships." Marcus exchanged a glance with President Ward. The bluff about having multiple ships like the Nemesis had held for 3 months. None of the alien species knew that the Nemesis was still the only one of its kind, though Earth scientists were working day and night to build more. "What about it?" Marcus asked calmly. "Such power cannot be controlled by one species alone," the Trell representative continued. "We propose that all displacement and molecular dissociation technology be surrendered to a neutral council for safekeeping." Murmurs of agreement came from several of the alien delegates. President Ward leaned forward. "The technology that saved Earth from extinction. You want us to give it up after you tried to destroy us. It is precisely because of what this technology can do that we make this request," said a coalition representative. "Think of what would happen if every species had such weapons. Galaxy-wide destruction would be inevitable." Marcus had expected this demand. The alien species feared human technology because they couldn't match it, but he had come prepared with a counteroffer. "No," he said simply. The room fell silent. "Admiral Marcus," Grand Arbiter Tull said carefully, "perhaps you didn't understand the gravity." "I understand perfectly," Marcus interrupted. "You fear what you don't understand. You fear what you can't control. But this technology saved humanity when you tried to wipe us out. We will not surrender it." The coalition representative stood up angrily. "Then these peace talks are over. We cannot allow one species to hold such power over all others." "Please, sit down," Dr. West said quietly. All eyes turned to her. Despite her small frame and soft voice, she commanded attention. "You've misunderstood our position." She activated a holographic display in the center of the table. It showed technical schematics for the displacement drive and molecular dissociation beams, but with key components missing. "We won't surrender the technology," she continued, "but we will share some of it." The alien representatives stared at the display in shock. Marcus smiled slightly. This had been the plan all along, not to hoard the technology, but to use it as a bridge. "These are partial schematics," Dr. West explained. "Enough for your scientists to understand the basic principles, but not enough to build weapons like those on the Nemesis. We propose a joint research initiative with representatives from all species working together to develop peaceful applications of this technology." "Peaceful applications?" the Trell representative asked skeptically. "The displacement drive could revolutionize space travel," Dr. West explained. "The molecular manipulation technology could help build structures in space, clean up toxic environments, even cure diseases." Marcus stood up. "Humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We just want to survive in it. But we won't do that by making ourselves vulnerable again." He walked to the center of the room. "Here's our proposal. Earth will share partial technology with all peaceful species. We will establish joint research centers where scientists from all worlds can work together. The Nemesis and its sister ships will remain under Earth's control, but they will patrol trade routes and protect all peaceful worlds, not just our own." The room buzzed with conversation as the alien delegates considered the offer. Ambassador Kell was the first to speak. The Meridian Empire accepts these terms. One by one, other representatives voiced their agreement. Even the Coalition and Trell delegates reluctantly nodded their approval. They had little choice. The alternative was to leave empty-handed and potentially face the Nemesis again. Grand Arbiter Tull stood and raised his 4 hands for silence. Then it is decided. Earth joins the galactic community not as a subject race, but as an equal partner. The peace accords will be modified to reflect these new terms. As the meeting concluded and the alien representatives filed out, President Ward turned to Marcus and Dr. West. "You planned this all along, didn't you?" Marcus nodded. Humanity needed leverage. Now we have it. "What about the sister ships?" Dr. West asked quietly. "The ones that don't exist." Yet, Marcus corrected her with a small smile. "They don't exist yet, but they will." Later that evening, Marcus stood alone on the observation deck of the orbital station, where the Nemesis was docked for repairs. The massive warship, scared from battle but still imposing, filled the viewport. He thought about Lieutenant Reed, whose sacrifice had made this peace possible, about the billions of humans who had died in the colonies before the Nemesis could protect them, about the future that now stretched before humanity, no longer isolated on Earth, but part of a vast galactic community. The door behind him opened, and Dr. West joined him at the viewport. "Do you think it will last?" she asked. "The peace." Marcus considered the question. "Peace built on fear never lasts," he said, "but peace built on mutual respect and shared knowledge, that has a chance." "Is that why you agreed to share the technology?" "Partly," Marcus admitted, "but also because Reed didn't sacrifice himself so we could become the very thing we fought against. He died so humanity could live, not just survive, but truly live as part of something greater." Dr. West nodded, understanding. The Nemesis was built to protect humanity from extinction. Now it will protect our place in the stars. As they stood watching Earth rise over the lunar horizon, a message came through on Marcus's communicator. The first joint research team, human and alien scientists working together, had made a breakthrough. They had found a way to use the displacement technology to travel faster than ever before, opening up distant parts of the galaxy that had been unreachable. It was just the beginning. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger. Their warship had been so deadly that the galaxy's first response was to run. But their ideas, their willingness to share and build together, might just be powerful enough to make the galaxy stay. And that, Marcus thought, was the greatest victory of all.